Anybody here? Other than us? Are we the only ones?
We're here. We're here.
We're here.
And people always watch it in the recorded version as well.
Yes, agreed. Hold on.
So one of the things I was thinking maybe we could talk about is we're going into early January. So what's the best thing for people to do to kind of plan out their 2022, especially if they're working on raising their average price point or growing more luxury business? And what do you think your top tips would be for somebody wanting to do that?
I have so many because so much has been going on. We are always talking about don't slow down during this time of year, right? We've been saying that over and over again. And I hope people haven't been slowing down because I am seeing, as I'm sure you are, more activity than I have like in all of November put together. And as I have said, it's the financial people who are getting their bonuses now, and they are big bonuses, and they are out there looking. So you cannot stop. And I know some new agents think, oh, I'm going to take off for the last 2 weeks in December. I just don't think you want, if you did it already, there's nothing we could do about that. Enjoy your time off and be recharged and ready to go. But right now, be available. People will be calling you. Just know that they will. And if you're not around, make sure that you have a backup of somebody who can help you out. And I know that with EXP, we have a lot of resources for people to help each other out. So make sure that you take advantage of that and know that. So now we are talking about for the new year. I'm not sure how many of you all do this, but you should. If you don't do it, this is a good time to do it. We're with EXP, we get KV Core for free. We can send out newsletters on a weekly, monthly basis. And you want to have, and they also have the ability to do video on KV Core. You should get your mailing list ready. Make sure you don't have any duplicates, add people, do your sphere, do other agents, do your clients, buyers, sellers, and have all of that ready so that you can communicate with them. The agents that are sending out these emails are top of mind. Please do not make your emails look like junk mail. People get enough of that. Give them something interesting that is going on in their community. For example, just found out the Neiman Marcus in our town, our like local Neiman Marcus is going to be shutting down, and somebody purchased it. That's kind of an interesting thing. People are interested in that. So anything that you see that is kind of fun and cool that makes you very local and gets you on top of mind. And we really need to stress market reports that are real. And again, with KV Core, we have excellent market reports. If you don't like the way the KV Core does it, please go to your MLS board and do those numbers. They have it. I did mine this year, and I was very surprised that Boston had a 38% increase in sales price over 2020. That's huge. That makes it the #1 in the world. Now, nobody else is talking about this, shockingly, but I am. And as a result, I got interviewed, and it's going to be showing up. So show that, that's going on, and know your market, know your market, know your market. JD and I always are talking about know your market. And so those are my things. By January 1st or 2nd, you should already have, like, really be an expert on your market, on what has sold, what is your available inventory. And this is a really, really good time to connect with the other agents, because those agents, like I said, they're busy. People are calling them left and right, like with showings and things like that. This is probably a good time because I'm working. A lot of the other top agents are working. They're not going anywhere. And so this is a really good time to get to those people, get to know them, go visit them while they're doing their showings, if they're doing an open house. This is our last luxury class for the year. And I hope that we just knock it out of the park for you. and give you some really great things to start the new year. Jamie?
I'm actually going to give a tip on how to be a good luxury buyer's agent. Because if you have not sold a lot of luxury properties, if you have not been used to showing properties where the listing agent is present, that you see more and more the higher you go up in price point, it's very apparent to luxury listing agents when they're dealing with a buyer's agent who hasn't dealt in this price point a lot, and it shows. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to minimize that from showing, and how to be a better buyer's agent for your actual buyers. I had an example of a property that is a very, very specific property here in historic St. Augustine. It's going to take a very specific property. It's very old. It needs a lot of maintenance, probably cannot be bought with a loan. And it's in a place where a lot of buyers want to see it out of curiosity, but not out of real ability or interest to buy. And the sellers don't want, just like any seller doesn't want just anybody showing their home. They want truly, capable and interested buyers in their home. And it's our job as listing agents to speak with the buyer's agents to make sure that the people they're bringing, it's not just somebody that randomly contacted them off the internet, like they so often do, just out of curiosity. So every time I have a very strict conversation with buyer's agents, I say, hey, this home needs this, this, and this. It's going to take this much money. It's going to take this much time. Is this something, if this is on the National Register, it has these kind of zoning restrictions. Is this something your buyer is looking for? And then they say yes. And then I normally send them in the inspection report, and I say, please share the inspection report with them after they've reviewed the inspection report and you've confirmed they have the ability. I'm not asking for a pre-approval, because at the upper price points you don't always do that, but you have a good working relationship with the agent to know the buyer's agent has done their homework to make sure that the buyer is qualified. So, and I said, I'm not going to ask you for a pre-approval, but I'm going to ask you to verify that they have the ability to buy. Comes back, yes, 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 yes. And they were wanting to show, like you said, Catherine, I'm working through the holidays. I'm happy to show any qualified, interested buyer anything. Well, they show up, they bring an entire entourage of friends, which is just a huge no-no. They bring an entire entourage of friends. Before we even go inside, I realized the buyer had never even read the inspection report. The buyer's agent had not told her anything negative about the house, because he was more interested in getting in front of that buyer and showing her whatever she wanted to see, rather than making sure that this was a fit, with complete disregard for me, my time during the holidays, the seller's time, everything like that. So if you're working with buyers and you're moving your price point up, and these are homes where the sellers are going to have to get out for the showing, or the listing agent is going to have to show, it is on you. It is incumbent upon you to make sure your buyers are truly capable and interested in that property, that you've done your due diligence to vet them properly. Otherwise, you're making yourself look like an incompetent person. And I know you might already do this in the other price points, but sometimes people just get so excited to show any buyer and they're scared to ask them the right questions. Don't do that. Be the responsible professional agent from the get-go. Show up early. This is the other thing, and then I'll let you go. Show up early. So maybe if you're meeting the listing agent, ask if you can arrive 20 minutes early to let them give you a quick buzz through the property. And if the agent knows the property better than you, let them show and tour. They're not going to steal your buyer. They're there to sell the house. But show up early. Don't have your buyers beating you to the listing. I need to open the door for my daughter real fast. So I'm going to let you jump on this, Catherine. I'll be right back.
Yes. And as Janie and I have said before, buyers come and go. Clients come and go, but how you treat your fellow agents makes a big difference. So making sure that your clients are in fact qualified. I had a showing with someone who the agent said, yes, they're highly qualified, they're coming. And they came to look at the house and they seemed to really like it. And then I called the agent and I said, what do they think? Oh, she's not quite sure, but but we'll let you know. And then I got another showing request. And again, because I'm being respectful and I'm trying not to be too invasive of the by the other agent's client, I said, okay. So I arranged another one, and this same exact client came, but with a different agent. And she comes in the corner, is like, please don't say anything. And I'm like, I didn't say anything because at that point, what's it worth? But then afterwards, I did tell both agents that their client had come in with someone else. And then after that, I just point blank, it's a $3.5 million house. I just am asking everybody, what is your client's name? I don't need your client, but I just need to know their name, because I don't want to have the situation where maybe they've already seen the house and who knows what the heck, who does that, but people do really crazy things. So anyway, last week I had an agent that called and arranged something for December 26th at 9 a.m. And all she wanted to do was show the builder's workmanship, because she was selling this builder's unbuilt house to her client. That's unacceptable. She's getting a bad reputation with me. Next time, I'm not going to be so available for her. And so as a rule, I try to be so available for agents, because I know we all work so hard. But when you take advantage of agents like that, you're going to get a bad reputation. So maintain your great reputation and really do your homework, so that the listing agent will always know that if you're the one showing that house, then my gosh, it's going to be a really good one.
100%. The higher you go in price point, the smaller and smaller the agent community becomes, especially of listing agents. And we talk and we share information, and we know who's a great buyer's agent and we know who's not. And just like Catherine was saying, same thing. It was Sunday, the day after Christmas. My daughter's here for 4 days only from Germany. I told the agent, my daughter's only here. Can we do it Wednesday going forward? No, she's so excited. She has to see it right away. She's going to bring an offer. And like I said, before we even got inside, I realized he had not shared a single thing that I had shared with him, and asked him to confirm with her before we set the showing up. And I will think 3 times, and I will not be easy and accessible for the next showing, because this is just somebody who's playing real estate agent.
I like that, playing real estate agent.
Yes, he shows up. He didn't know about the house. He hadn't done what he needed to do. So we're just saying, don't be that person. And by the way, if you're the listing agent and you're starting to get luxury listings, you need to do a great job too. Your job is to sell the house. It's not to dazzle people with yourself. Don't park in the driveway, park your car away. So when the buyer shows up, they park in the driveway. They feel like it's theirs. Be very conscious of the buyer's agent's relationship. Like, don't try to bowl over the buyers with your knowledge and everything like that. Be knowledgeable, but always be in a support position to the buyer's agent, because it's really the buyer's agent's clients.
Yes,
right?
and I have shown houses with the seller's agent who tries to steal the client right from me. I find it so so amateurish, and it makes everybody look bad. So don't do that. Nobody cares how much you know. So at the listing, if you're the listing agent, treat that other agent like gold, because if there's going to be an offer coming, you're going to have to make sure that that other agent has the respect of the buyer, those clients. Because if you make that agent look bad, that agent cannot control her clients when it comes to negotiation, and the agent will always second guess whatever you're telling them, whatever the buyer's agent is telling them. So just like when we do our three-way calls, the one person talks, and then we have the experts talk. So let if the person is coming in 20 minutes earlier, show them everything, and then maybe ask the agent very respectfully. By the way, you look great by doing this. Just say, would you like to show it? I know you know this house very well. Would you like to show it, or would you like me to? And based on the agent's comfort level, they'll say whether they want you to do it or whether they want to do it.
The other thing I do too is I find this works really well when you're showing a property. Before you even start to show, I say, I'm going to give you a mental map of what we're going to see, especially for a larger home. We're going to walk through the main space, then we're going to walk through the addition, the main bedrooms are on the upstairs, whatever it is. Because the reason I do that is in a very large home, and some of these homes are huge, it becomes feeling like a maze. And if you haven't kind of set the mental map in their head, I realize they're not even listening to what I'm saying because there's so much in their head trying to like, okay, where's the kitchen again? Where's the bedroom? Blah, blah, blah. Where's the back staircase? That they're like that. So by teeing that up like that, and then I say, and we're going to tour the house. And then at the end of the tour, I'm going to sit down in the living room and you guys can take a walkthrough on your own. Because the other thing is a lot of times buyers and buyers agents want to have time also to talk amongst themselves. So the input that the listing agent has about the history and the structure of the home is very, very important. And you can't really skip that. And you're foolish as a buyer's agent to think that you can skip that to control your buyers. But then the listing agent often should also give you some space to then go and have conversations yourselves as well.
So true. And by the way, I have not done that before, Janie. That is such a great tip. Have that mental discussion with them, because I have sold houses where people are a little bit confused. Like, wait, how many bedrooms? But if you plan it out in advance, like I have a listing right now where there's a Jack and Jill, and people get confused the minute we walk into the suite, and then there's a Jack and Jill. So it's so much better, again, to say, we're going to go see 4 bedrooms upstairs. And one is, it's such a great idea. Thank you, JD.
It helps so much. Also, if your buyer, while we're on this topic of distracted buyers, if your buyer has really interesting art, a lot of times that's awesome, but a lot of times great, interesting art can become so distracting that the buyers no longer are looking at the home. They get really hung up on the art and they're looking at the art that they don't even take in the home. And the whole thing is to sell the home as a home that they could move into and become their own. So if that's just something to think about, that's always such a tricky situation to ask them if we can swap out the art for something just a little bit more neutral.
And with that, I know a lot of agents don't like photos, family photos around. Now, if there's too many, I'm with you. But I actually have taken photos out of magazines and put them inside beautiful frames, silver frames, and put them up because I'm creating a dream. And look at this family, or look at this beautiful couple. This is their wedding photo. This is them skiing up in the mountain and all of that. So you want to definitely create a dream too. So if the family has photos like that, definitely keep them, but make sure that they're like, that they kind of, ideally you want all the frames to kind of match and not fight each other. Like I try to get all silver frames or all black frames, something like that. So you can have the family photos, but it has to be really beautifully staged and organized.
Also, since we're still on the showing and the house preparation conversation, it's important too when you're going through the house, especially a house that has like a ton of features. I create 2 sheets. I create a feature sheet where I spell out all the features. It has solar, it has impact windows, it has, Riani InstaHot, all the features, the special things that you might not know just by visually seeing. And then I also have an FAQ, a frequently asked questions. How many ACs are there? Is the pool saltwater or chlorine? What kind of hot water heater is it? All those questions. What's their average electric bill? Because you get asked the same questions all the time. So I always have those with me and give them to the agent to give to their buyer. as kind of a packet. So they're not thinking, oh, I've got to remember all this stuff. And I tell them, I'm giving your agent, here's all the information. So you don't have to worry about trying to remember all that stuff. And then if I don't have the answer, like sometimes they might ask me something that I don't have, what's the depth of the water at low tide or something, maybe I don't have that answer. I'll say, I don't know, but I'll get back to you. And I try to make a list of all the questions and only get the questions from the seller at the end of the showing in one lump sum. Then I share that with the buyer's agents, and then I add those specifically asked questions to the FAQ of that specific listing, so that next time when I show it again, I have all those additional answers that's specific to this house.
And JD, one more thing along with that, when you are handing things during a showing, always give them to the agent. Don't give it to the buyer. It's just rude. It would be like hitting on someone's girlfriend when just don't do it. One more thing to add to Janie's list. Janie and I both have a lot of buyers that are not from here. Right? Because we have like all this technology and biotech, people are moving from all over. And Janie has all these gorgeous homes that people get to retire in, or vacation homes. I also do. Where's the closest grocery store? I have like a list of the groceries, and also my favorite massage place, my favorite hair place, my favorite coffee place, where they can go ice skating, where they can go for a hike. All the things that are available to the community, because they're not just buying the house, they're buying the community, and like, what's the favorite bakery and that sort of thing. Just have it, and don't, just have it in a nice thing, just like everything else you're going to give them that as well.
Give them that. And if you're a buyer and you're working your way up your price point by getting buyers in the higher price points, create the same thing and give that to the buyer. In the package that you give the buyer before you even go to the show. Because I promise you, many, 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 many buyers, agents are new to the higher price points, and they're not used to servicing the higher price point people the same way they're used to servicing their past or their mid price point people. And the people at that price point, buyers pick that up. I cannot tell you, just like Catherine said, the story of that buyer that came back through with another agent. I can't tell you how many times buyers, even long after they bought, come back around to me to sell their property or show them other properties because they felt like their buyer was so ill-equipped with showing and helping them at something. So you can change that. You can educate yourself, provide the information like Catherine's talking about, go to broker open houses, go to, if there's luxury properties that are having a broker's open, or maybe on Lockbox, maybe some are, go and try to see them, preview them, so that you can really have the same level of information, even if you haven't sold a lot. It's not based on experience, it's based on knowledge. So you can get yourself that knowledge even if you haven't sold it. And like Catherine was talking about, doing the 2021 year in review. Our area, just so you know, the data might not be updated until after the 5th of January, because the 5th of January is the date the MLS requires each month all the closings from the previous month be entered. So sometimes people don't get it in until the 3rd or the 4th. And with that market report, I would create the Mac Daddy of all Mac Daddy market reports, and I would be sharing them on social. I would be doing a video about it. I would be sharing the video on Facebook and YouTube and on LinkedIn. I would be maybe even having an invitational event at like a coffee shop or someplace where you can be sharing this information and make yourself the go-to person long before you even sell the properties at that price point. That's what's giving you the street cred of knowing your stuff.
I love the idea with the video, doing a market with the video, and put it in. If you're on Facebook, you should join your town's community page. So I'm a member of the West community page and the Wellesley community page. And then you put that on there and you're doing these videos and by the time, and do some fun videos too, like where there's us like, oh, would you prefer to go to this restaurant or this restaurant? Like, do you want to go to Coach Grill or do you want to go to Smith and Walensky? someone can ask you that and then you can answer that. Because by the time then that you go into a listing appointment, people will actually feel like they know you. And then it's not so difficult. By then, they're like, hey, we like this person. We're going to bring them into our home.
So wrapping up, what do you think your top tips are for people to really kick off 2022 with a complete bang?
My top tip would be, once again, do your market report, get to know it really, really well. See if you can see any patterns. Is there a neighborhood where people seem to be moving, like a whole bunch of people? Find out why, get rid of the rest of them. Go knock on their door, send them a letter, whatever you have to do. I also think that doing these videos is huge. Have a plan for your social media. If you don't have a plan, you're just not going to do it. Figure out what you're going to do. And you need to be able to drop something at least once a week, something important. And by the way, it doesn't have to be yours. You can do, hey, here's the most significant sale in the Boston area, and talk about that. Treat your Instagram, treat your social media and your YouTube as if you're the reporter and you're giving information out, because that's the way people are perceiving it. If you're just saying, oh, look at me and my cute little cat, or look at me and my dog, all you're doing is making people feel bad about their lives. So don't do that. Make people feel good about it. And by the way, if you look gorgeous all the time, people don't like that either. Just be you and just be yourself, because that's what people want. This is a very important decision, and they're going to want to go with people that they can really connect with. So my whole thing is, do your social media, plan to do a video a week, no more than 5 minutes, drop that, make a plan of what you're going to be talking about at every single thing. And then again, you have to just, volunteer, get out there. You're going to feel at times, sorry, we're going to go over it, but anyway, there are times when you're going to be like, I don't want to go to that. I'm too tired. Well, forget it. You're a professional. You're a rainmaker. You get yourself together and you go. I don't want to hear, I didn't want to go to that meeting because I'm tired, or I have this, or make excuses like I had 20 appointments yesterday, or I had 10 appointments today. It's raining or snowing outside and no one's going to want to see me. It's a bad day. Everybody has said no to me all day long. I'm just going to ditch this last one. Well, guess what? That last one could be the one that was the killer moment for you that day. So don't skip out on these things. Go, meet with people. And try to do a whole lot of face-to-faces, even if it's, go meet with the bankers, go meet with the other agents, go meet with designers, house stagers. You need to be with a whole bunch of face-to-face people. And, I know I just said social media, but you need to have those face-to-face, because when you're top of mind, they're going to refer you because you're the last person they saw. So make sure you see these people who are helping you in your business over and over and over again, and get to see them, on one-on-one.
And then my tip, those are all awesome tips. Awesome tips. That's like a year's worth of tips. My tip would be, make sure your branding is on point. And what I mean by that is, don't just rely on the EXP brand. Make your brand. If you're a single agent, Catherine has her beautiful Catherine Bassick Fine Homes and Estates, brokered by EXP. I have the coffee team, because we're a team, the coffee team brokered by EXP, but both of our brand that we've created around ourselves, that's a brand adherent to EXP's rules and our state's rules, but they look very different, and they really brand ourselves. So make sure your branding is that you have the most amazing cards that feel great, that have the right card stock. Don't just do the EXP orange and blue shiny cards. That just feels like the cards you get for free. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Get the good cards, like use Moo or whomever. Make sure your signs look amazing and are aligned with your I should just take a bunch of pictures, Catherine. That's what we should do.
Okay.
One of our things is share what our cards, our folders that we give to buyers. I have folders that have our logo on it, our yard signs, I have coffee sleeves to send referrals, a coffee sleeve with, a Starbucks card in it to say, thank you for sending us a referral. You can get ribbon with your brand on it to wrap your gifts in. Just have all your materials branded to you, and make sure that everything looks and feels luxury, so that when people are dealing with you, you have become the brand. That's what Sotheby's has done so well. They have that beautiful, rich navy blue. Every single sign, whether you're in Turkey or you're in Boston or you're in Miami or you're in LA or you're in London, it's that same blue sign, and the cards are all the same. I loved that when I was with Sotheby's, but now I've taken that same mindset and I've made it about the coffee team. So everything, nobody even connects me to other EXP agents in my market, because my coffee team brand is so strong. You need to do that for yourself. And if you haven't done that yet, do that this week. Like, work on this week. You can go to what is that? Hold on one sec. I'll think of it in a minute. It's a
the
website.
Branding?
Oh. Yeah, it's a website that will create a logo for you. And if you give them the EXP brand requirements and your state requirements, they'll create like 30 different logos for you, where you can pick and hone, and then order your nice cards, order your nice folders to give your buyers or your listing appointments. Get your signs, like work on that right now when it's slow and quiet, because you're not going to have time in the spring when everything blows up. Brand yourself. Make sure your banner on your website and your email and your social media, all on brand.
This is probably the most important thing you can do, hands down, is exactly what Janie said. Work on your brand right now. Because I also was with Sotheby's with Janie when we were there. But guess what? The minute you leave Sotheby's, people don't remember you or your brand. The great thing about EXP is they will remember us now because we have our own brand. So Sotheby's, you leave there, Sotheby's continues and all of that, but they are not counting on you. You don't get to take that goodwill with you. You can take your track record with you, but I think you all know what I'm talking about with that. So definitely work on your brand, get those gorgeous business cards, and website is crucial.
Let's do that next week. Let's try to show our different brand pieces so that people can see what we're talking about, and maybe share the list of all the different places we got our things so that everybody can do it themselves as well.
That's a great idea.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody. Happy New Year. Woo!
Bye.
Bye.